Soaps never shy away from tackling the big stories, and in recent weeks we've seen Tracy Metcalfe's battle with postnatal depression go from bad to worse.
You've got all the information you need. Just follow your instincts and you'll be fine.
I just don't want her thinking I'm not prepared, despite the fact I'm clearly not. Go upstairs, sleep it off.
Dad, listen to me, because you ain't got the first clue about motherhood.
Is that so?
She was fine at the party. You didn't need to go off it like that.
You saw how sick she was.
She's a baby, who cares?
You didn't see all the looks I was getting. Everybody thinks I'm a rubbish mother.
You've just had a baby. You can't just jump back into something and expect no changes.
I love her so much, it hurts. No, it needs sterilising properly. I don't want you making Frankie ill. From now on, I will be staying home to look after Frankie.
You are beautiful. Oh, what's that little scratch?
You're scared of me, are you? You think I'm going to hurt you again like that scratch? I can't keep you safe. I can't come. I can't. I am sorry. Mummy's going to find a way to keep you safe. From all the bad things from me.
So brilliantly done. And we are joined now by Amy Walsh. She plays Tracy alongside Dr Larisa Corder. Good morning to both of you. Thank you so much. Amy, this storyline is sadly not a storyline in a lot of women's lives, and obviously something that a lot of women go through and feel, and will be watching this and feeling that very rawly. How is it for you taking on a storyline like this? And I suppose because, you know, and I know Emmerdale and Sharon tells us a lot about the team there and how they handle storylines like this with so much care. But for me, you can really, really see that. How was it for you?
Well, it was an immense amount of pressure, I have to say. I mean, I am even emotional watching that clip. So for anyone who's actually been through it, it must be such a hard watch. It's been an amazing experience for me at Emmerdale, because it's really the first time that I've taken on something so important. And the writers and the story team and the producers have been amazing, and the whole way through it's just been so important to all of us, me as well, and Jarell, who plays my partner Nate, to tell this story right and well, you know, for those that have suffered. And we spoke to case studies as well, so you know, we had kind of one-on-one contact with sufferers from the illness, and that just made it all the more important. Every scene I played out, I knew a little fragment of Tracy's story was a reflection of what they'd been through, and that, like I say, it was an immense amount of pressure, but what an honour as well.
Well, you handle it so brilliantly, and I think what I think, and I know when I've spoken to actors before, it's handling these stories in such a way that it's not, OK, it's fixed overnight and now we're on to something else. It's actually trying to be real in the amount of time that this is going on for, and the length of this, you know. It's not, OK, in tomorrow's episode, everything's back to normal, because that's not real life.
Absolutely. That was so important with this, because I think so many people think that people just suffer a few weeks or months after having a baby and then they'll get on track, or you know, it's just tiredness or baby blues. And actually, from the research that we've done, it showed that symptoms don't always show themselves till many months down the line. And one of our case studies, I think, only really figured out what was going on after her child was over a year old. And I just love the way that Emmerdale have told it, with those nuances of you've kind of seen it creeping in, but no one really knew. And I think that has been the most important thing. And also not dramatising it for drama's sake, you know, for entertainment value, but telling the truth of it. That's been really important, and I think they've done that really, really well. Like, it didn't need to be a big dramatic thing, you know. It could just be the raw emotions of this character playing someone who could be very, very real.
Well, Amy, let's find out how real it is from the doctor now. Dr Larisa Corder is with us now. What is postnatal depression? How is it caused? What determines who gets it and who doesn't?
Yeah. So the first thing I want to say, actually, on behalf of all the women and doctors who be working this pandemic, is thank you so much, Emmerdale and Amy, for taking on this hugely pivotal subject that's been so important this entire pandemic, really.
Absolutely.
I've seen so many women and men as well affected by this, and we mustn't forget the men in all of it too. In terms of what it is, it's experiencing symptoms of feeling low, feeling exhausted, feeling tired, isolating yourself, withdrawing from other people. But of course, it's also triggered by social isolation, which we've all been made to feel during the pandemic. So whereas, you know, before we may have expected to receive support from friends and from family, that just hasn't been around, including the fact that lots of women haven't had their support partner with them during important hospital visits and even during labour. So the amount of birth trauma that's been experienced has been huge.
But it's interesting you say. I sort of, in my head, I'm thinking, if you're going to get it, you'll get it when you have the baby. But that's not the case, is it?
No,
absolutely not. And that's why we should probably refer to the term as perinatal depression rather than just postnatal, because actually depression can affect you when you're antenatal, so during the time you're pregnant. And that's what a lot of women found, that because they didn't necessarily have the support that they needed, up to about, we estimate 50% of women actually met the threshold for a diagnosis of depression. But yet the same number also weren't diagnosed because we just didn't have the means of screening people. We know that depression rates have gone from about an average of 14% to a huge 31% in the pandemic. And post-traumatic stress disorder related to birth trauma or to depression that you might have suffered antenatally and postnatally has gone from 4% to 30%.
Yeah.
That is huge.
That is crazy.
Huge. And we know that the #1 killer of women within the first year after giving birth is suicide. So, you know, I dread to think what these figures might mean being translated.
That's where we're at, of course, with Tracy, Emmy, is it not?
We're getting there, unfortunately. She's getting to a really dark point. It's been important for us to tell a story of hope and for people not to be scared away from watching how this story unfolds, because I think it's really important to see Tracy's journey through to the end. So you know, and I'm getting messages saying I've had to switch off, it's too raw, it's too hard, but you know, I just think, don't worry, she's going to be okay because she's going to get help. And we had to show that, because we have to show the viewers at home who are struggling that you're going to be okay if you get help. And unfortunately, those from the research I've done, and don't quote me, but you know, those that don't get help are the ones that seem to end up suffering with suicidal thoughts, you know, more than those that do.
And I think, Dr. Larisa, I know a friend of mine suffered really deeply, and I think she assumed she'd had one baby and didn't she didn't suffer at all. You know, felt okay and felt, you know, it wasn't really a fragment of imagination, and then had another baby and then suffered really quite badly. So it doesn't mean, oh, I've got through a pregnancy now and I've got through a birth and I'm a mum. It doesn't mean that it's not going to happen.
Right. And the truth of the matter is that none of us are immune to this sort of thing, right? No matter how resilient, robust, how strong you think you might be, actually, you know, new mums in particular, they're so vulnerable.
Absolutely.
You know, not only are you coping with, you know, potentially a very different job to what you're used to doing, especially if you're a new mum, but, you know, even second, third time mums as well. But if you're not getting the support that you need, you know, you're running around ragged, you're exhausted. And it's really, really important that, you know, you talk, you mention things to someone. It could just be expressing how you feel and feeling validated.
And it can be treated.
Exactly.
It can be treated. That's the thing. So important. There's lots of help out there. Maybe we can put it on the website so people can have a look.
Yes, we will do that. And I think,
lots of things.
you know, the more awareness we raise, the better, which is why this is so brilliant that you and the team are doing this, Amy. So thank you so much, and thanks for talking about it today.
Not at all. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Emmerdale continues tonight, 7 o'clock. Doctor, thank you very much indeed as well.